welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna. For those of you who are new here, welcome. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. Alright, so I do not own all of Johanna Basford's coloring books. I kind of want to, but I also kind of don't because I actually don't get into these a lot. I will be ordering the new Rooms of Wonder, I think it is, coming out in October, just because the room pages are some of my favorite pages, but as I flip through these books, you're going to see I've never actually done one. I'm going to go through here. I've got it stacked by way of size because they're all the same except for my Ivy and my Inky because that's a smaller book. But we're actually going to start with the Christmas one and then go from there. All of these I either got from Amazon. This I bought secondhand from my friend over at Susie's Cottage. And then I actually have 2 copies of this Enchanted Forest. One I got from my friend Miss Kay, and then the other one I had purchased on my own. One of them I keep here at home. This is the one that she actually purchased for me. This was the gift. And the one that I had purchased is at work. And when we get to this particular book, I'll show you what I've been doing with those 2. But yeah, let's just get started. So we're going to start with this one because of all of the ones, I like it because it is essentially single-sided, but I'm actually not a huge fan of the artwork in here. So I only have one completed page, which is this one right here. I believe it was... Yeah, it was in 2021 for Corey's Christmas in July. So I did turn this into more like a Hawaiian Christmas page, just because here in Hawaii, we don't get all the snow and all of that. Again, when I was going over this completed page with you guys in my July completed pages video, it didn't dawn on me until afterwards that if this were truly a snow globe, the palm tree would not be sticking out of it, but whatever. But that is the only completed page I have in here. And then the one that's nearly complete is this one right here. And the only thing I plan to do with this is just outline this in gold. And you'd think that go a lot faster, but it does not. It is taking forever and a day. I started this back in April 2021. I've learned that whips do not bother me at all. And when I'm in the mood to trace in gold, then I'll come back to this particular page. But that is my completed page out of Johanna Basford's Johanna's Christmas. Now this, I really love this coloring book. One, because I got it from my friend Susie, but I love the artwork in here. I love a detailed page. I don't necessarily always gravitate towards coloring them. And because this is a double-sided book, this is something that I don't want to sacrifice the other page. Some of my other coloring books, like my Kirby's, I will sacrifice a page, no problem. But something like this, I don't. Now, I did want to show this to you guys is because I haven't seen, I don't even know if there's anything out there, a full flip through of Johanna Basford's new book. But because I know I love something like this, even though I know this means time, it doesn't really bother me because there's so many details. It's just the time that you'll need to put in towards this. I don't even need to know what's going to be in that. Now, I didn't pre-order it because my track record with pre-orders has not been great, but I knew as soon as it's going to be available either here on island in a store or via Amazon, I will be picking it up. But again, because I love stuff like this, I knew that's just going to be an automatic buy for me. They're not always for her, but that one certainly will be. So by way of completed pages, I have some full pages and then some little things right here. I think in the Johanna Basford books, the Funner Square pencils work really well. I don't do a lot of pencil work these days because it does hurt my hands, but I do enjoy using those in here. So if I am going to be working in this book in particular, then that's one of my go-to pencils. This one was for one of Olga Ronnie Prompt's of Lotus. So this one right here. Again, I do like that there are quite a few pages that only have 1 or 2 things on there. I didn't feel the need to write all the colors down. I can get something very similar by way of using some of these colors in here, but I'm not so particular that it has to be super matchy-matchy, or at least with this particular coloring book. This was a buddy color with my girl Poet. And was this also for Finding Color? Yes, it says summer. This must have been the prompt for the month of August. I did make a mistake, but again, mistakes happen. That's just life. So I left it in. I didn't feel the need to cover that up. This was another prompt for Olga. Olga actually, her weekly and her monthly challenges really drive a lot of coloring pages for me. But this was for pearls, and I didn't get the best effect on here, but I did like to play, and there is some stickles on here. I don't know if that's going to be problematic when I'm coloring on this side, but that's actually a problem for future Johanna, so I'm not going to worry about it. And again, I think this was a prompt for Olga. No, this was, I got some Flowwood pencils from Poet, and I wanted to test them out, and there's actually a video on this. It's a good thing I wrote notes. And then this right here was a random color generator pencil page video. That's a mouthful. It was also for Finding Color for Spider, and this I am going to treat as separate vignettes. So this was considered a completed page for me, and then as I go through the rest of them, then I'll do the same as well. But those are all my completed pages out of Johanna Basford's Ivy and the Inky Butterfly. Now for the Enchanted Forest, again, this is the copy that my friend Miss Kay had sent to me. I am handling it in a very particular way. Now, if I color in the copy that she had sent to me, then I'm just going to leave it in the book. But the copy that I had purchased that's at work, I'm actually cutting the pages out so that I can store them in here. But I'm also using alcohol markers because, again, I do have doubles of these images. I don't generally buy doubles of books or have doubles of books just because I am pressed for space. And so that was for an Olga Rani prompt of Dragonfly. This was also for an Olga Rani prompt of Dragonfly, even though I forgot to color it in. And then this was for an Olga Rani prompt of Boat. And again, all of these are done in alcohol markers. Even if I work out of this particular book here, this is probably the only exception to the pencil, because again, I do know that I have the separate or the second book at work. So if I want to color in here with alcohol markers, I'll just need to remember to protect this page and then sacrifice the other page if I want to. And then I just do find that it's easier for me to store these completed pages in the front of the book just so that it keeps flat. If I stick it in the actual book, it sticks out a little bit much and it might bend the pages. But that's my completed pages from Johanna Basford's Enchanted Forest. This is actually one of the very first books that I purchased when I rediscovered coloring as an adult. And this is Johanna Basford's World of Flowers. I did actually pick this up from Target. And so I think this actually was one of the very first pictures that I completed. And I don't know how it is for you, but I know in the coloring book community here on YouTube, there's actually a lot of times 2 different hobbies going on. The one where you're collecting coloring books and supplies, and the ones that you're actually coloring. I had always been enamored of coloring as an adult, but I can tell you that in my previous attempts, I was never able to complete a page. And I realize now, and I started realizing when I had picked up this hobby again, is it's because of the mediums that I was using. It wasn't until I discovered Prismacolor pencils that I realized how much they affect the way that I view coloring books as well as how it feels to color, because I don't feel like I'm fighting with the page. I get the pigment, and it's not as difficult as Crayola pencils, which is what I had used prior to that, or fine liners. But again, considering the size of the page, using fine liners, and again, that's all I used before was fine liners or Crayola pencils, because I didn't really realize there was other mediums out there, that it just makes it go a lot faster. And I need that, I don't want to say closure. I don't think that's the correct word, but I need that win of completing something, because every time I complete something, it makes me want to complete something else. Having books on my shelf that are sitting and waiting for me, I do want it to be an active collection where I want to get into it. I don't want to have books that are just sitting there just for me to look at, just because space is a premium for me. And so having those small wins where, yes, I want to work on another page and I want to work another page, even if it's not by the same artist, really motivates me to continue with this hobby. I know that was a little bit of a tangent, but I did want to kind of go over how my coloring has evolved. And because of the community here on YouTube, I've realized there's just so many other mediums that I did not realize were even available. So now my medium of choice generally is either paint or alcohol markers, just because I get a lot of bang for my buck by way of color saturation, but it doesn't hurt my hands or is as taxing on me physically as pencil work is. This was a page that I did to test out some pencils I had purchased. So these are done in Holbeins, these are done in Erogitins, these are done in Caran d'Ache Luminance pencils, and these are done in Polychromos. And to be honest, I find it difficult to work with polys. I know people love them. I thought the Erogitins, even though it's very pale, I kind of like that effect. I thought the Lumis worked well, and I think the Holbeins work well in here, although I think they work a lot better on Erie paper. But that's this page here. This is something I started, I want to say sometime last year. I didn't write it down. And I think these are Brett Funners right here, but again, oh no, I want to keep that marked. I actually don't let whips bother me. I'm actually more concerned of untouched coloring books than coloring books that have things I've started but never completed. This was actually something I was going to do a video series on. I actually filmed a little bit of this in the latter part of 2021, and then I just got bored with it. So I don't know if I'm going to consider this a completed page or if I'm going to come back to it. I actually have these pencils segmented someplace, but yeah, that's something that I have on my radar. This is also one of the very first color and chat videos I did. There's actually 2 different videos going on here. I did want this to be seasonal, and I do want to complete this with you guys on camera, but I've learned that if I'm going to do something creative, especially if I'm coloring on camera with you guys, I need to be in the mood for it, because those are already inherently difficult. And so coloring and talking through a process isn't the easiest. And if I'm not in the headspace for it, you're going to be able to tell that. Now this one I'm a little sad on, and I suppose I could save it, but I was trying some things on the back here, and this was one of the very first pages after I finished that first page I showed you, where I was testing things and I didn't understand how some of my mediums worked, and I wanted this to be really dark blue and inky, and I was trying to get that effect by way of pencils. And I think these were Prismas, because I don't know that I had anything else at the time, and I just couldn't get it, and I've already kind of messed up the tooth of the page. And so even though I really love this page, this isn't a failure to me. I tried something and it didn't work, and now I know that. And we're getting into almost 2 years with this hobby. I definitely would have attacked this differently. I probably would have put a base of either watercolor, or I love my Inktense paint pens, and then done some shading over that. But I do like seeing it, just because it's a fail in that I didn't get the effect that I wanted, but it's also when, because I'm not bothered that I didn't get the effect. Plus also I didn't have the understanding of how my products worked to be able to achieve that anyway. And I like knowing that kind of stuff. This is a completed page right here. This is something I had started back in January 2021, but didn't finish until February, and I didn't write anything down. So I tried to kind of recreate the colors as best as I could, just because I wanted to look cohesive, even if it wasn't completed all in the same time frame. And then this one right here, I actually really like how this looked, but Doodle over at Doodle Robot, what she had done with this page, and it did not dawn on me. It really did not dawn on me that these are beetles. That's why she did what she did to her page, because I just see bugs. Bugs don't have names, they're just bugs. But it took the longest time, especially even though when she was putting the artwork that she was putting down on there, I know that artwork because I do like the music of the Beatles. But I'm like, why though? Why is she? Oh, right. Because these bugs have different names other than bugs. And I did use a stencil and distress ink at the background. I did frame it out, and then you guys know more often than not I will put text on a page just to take some of that space away. But yeah, that's a completed page, and those are my completed pages out of Johanna Basford's World of Flowers. In ranking of my Johanna Basford books, I think The Ivy and the Inky is my favorite, just because one, I got it from my friend Susie, but I also like the size and I like the artwork. Number 2 would be Worlds of Wonder, and this would be number 3. And then The Enchanted Forest would be next, and Christmas last. Once I see the new one that's coming out the end of October, then I'd be able to place that one in my ranking. But yeah, that's my ranking so far. And then the last Johanna Basford book is her most recent to me. I think she actually has the How to Draw one, I think she came out with, and then she has her calendar one. But this is my latest one by way of when she released them. And this is her Worlds of Wonder. And so I did complete the name page here. I don't generally do these a lot, but if you're trying to get a quick coloring in, these are generally kind of small, so they're easy to work on. I did this in March 2021, but I didn't write down the medium. A lot of it is pencil work, although there is some white gel. I don't know that I had any of my glitter pens at the time, because there's no glitter on this page. This one I did in Brut Funners, Tombows, and Mild Liners. I did add that element back there. I believe I also added the tree, because I think only the house and the bird were on this page. And for me, this is sufficient enough to anchor the page where I don't feel the need to do a background. This was a buddy color with my girl Spicy Cat. I believe this one was our buddy, and we did this in January 2022. But I thought it'd be interesting to do these pages in tandem by way of color scheme. I did do an outline in washi tape. This one I had to put a box around just to make these pages kind of similar. The washi tape is what actually drove the color palette, although not really, because there's no blue on this washi tape, but that's how I got the pinks and the greens, although let's be honest, that is my favorite color combo. And then again, I just decided to do these pages in tandem, just because when I was finished working on this side with a particular color, I would just come to this side and work on it as well. These two, this one was done as a buddy color with Rach over at Pricey Colors. Hey, Miss Rach, hope you're doing well. And I want to say this was a finding color, but maybe it wasn't. But the floating island and the fish were there. I put the clouds in the background kind of to tie in the colors. And then again, text on a page, so I don't have to worry about too much detail on there. This definitely was a prompt for Olga. So this is a couple of layers of acrylic paint on the back. It is metallic. And then I believe the prompt for Olga was, yeah, flamingos, because I don't actually like flamingos. These are okay because their eyes are closed, but generally if you look at flamingo pages, they are giving mad side eye, and I don't like the judginess. I really don't. But that was, and they kind of tie in together because there is a little bit of blue on both of the pages, but they are, in my mind, distinct pages. This was done because Johanna Basford had a competition, and it says for Corey's Facebook group of Colorfully Optimistic, this was the group buddy color for July 2021. I did add those elements there again to frame out the picture. Although again, like I said, I think Johanna Basford had a competition on this as well. And then this was done because Pixie last year, she had used the free PDF from Johanna Basford, and she was doing little vignettes where she was coloring it for Halloween as sort of a countdown. And so I tried to follow that as best as I could, just because what she was using, the freebie, is not exactly the same as this, but it was very close. My favorite is the fish there, although I do like the boat that's turned into a pirate ship. This was a finding color for Olga. Now I actually drew in the whale, the fish, and the bottle, and some of the fish there. It was just this circular pattern here, but because the prompt was whale and none of the whale pages that I had in my other coloring books really spoke to me, I thought this would be sufficient. My Distress ink work is not the greatest, but I can tell myself that that's just creative license versus a mistake. My hobby is here to help me with stress and to feel creative, and so I'm not going to let it make me feel bad. I'm not trying to level up a skill. I'm not trying to work on shading or lighting or anything like that. It is supposed to be fun, and once it stops being fun, I'm going to stop with the page. And then my last one is this one right here. And I was really proud of this one because not only does it have a picture in what I think is very striking, again, depending on your skill level or your desire to have a higher skill level, you probably could have done this differently. But I also wrote a little story of what this meant to me. And so between those two things, it's one of the pages that I'm really proud of. And I do like that there is a little bit of a nod to how lighting works. Not really, but again, it's not something that I'm really super concerned about. So is the picture interesting to me? Yes, it is. Am I happy that I'm looking at it right now? Yes, I am. Have I seen this done in the most amazing way? Absolutely. But it's not a competition. There's no prize out there for having the best page, because best is definitely contextual. I think this is the best for me. Whether it's the best for you, that's all relative. But that is my final completed page out of Johanna Basford's Worlds of Wonder, and that's my final completed page out of any of my Johanna Basford books. I do like to work on this, or at least it's a focus of mine, to work on at least one page of hers every single month. But as I get through the month, if I run out of time, then my focus tends to take a background to any of my buddy colors. It's Sunday the 25th. I feel super chatty, but I feel also like I'm really struggling to find words, so I apologize. So yeah, if the videos seem kind of off, that's why. My brain doesn't necessarily want to work with my mouth, and that's actually not a new feature for me. That happens all the time. Anyway, guys, I'd love to know what you think, if you had a favorite page of all of the ones I've shown you, and as always, aloha.